So we discussed in class the disposal of long-term assets or plant assets. Now let's look at a problem associated with the disposal of plant assets, and let's look at it under three different scenarios. If we discard it as having no value in option one, and then we'll look at it as if we sold it for cash of a certain value, and then we'll look at it as if we're selling it for cash where we're gaining on the sale of that asset. So we'll look at problem SE10 on page 431, and we have the company Alarico Printing, and they own a piece of equipment that cost $16,200 when it was originally purchased. And then on that particular asset, we have recorded accumulated depreciation totaling $9,000. And now we're, as a company, looking to dispose of the equipment on January 2nd, the first day of the new business year for that particular company, Alarico. So first thing we have to do is we have to calculate what our current carrying value for this asset is. And if we remember in the problem, we said our equipment cost $16,200, and we had accumulated depreciation of $9,000. So that will give us a carrying value of $7,200 on this asset, bringing it up to its current book value, taking the total cost minus the total accumulated depreciation. And so we have a carrying value on our books as of this January 2nd date of $7,200. In item A, we assume that we've discarded this asset as having no value. So when we discard this asset, we're going to look at what did we receive for the disposal of the asset. And in this particular case, we didn't receive anything. Okay, we received nothing for it. So therefore, the carrying value of $7,200 is really considered to be a complete loss on the disposal of the asset, because we didn't get anything for the disposal. So we're showing a $7,200 loss on this asset. And then if we were to record that journal entry for that disposal in option A, we would record the accumulated depreciation, which we're going to we want to get that off of the books, that a full accumulated depreciation. And our accumulated depreciation was $9,000, so we would debit the accumulated depreciation because its normal side balance is a credit. So to get it off the books, we're going to debit it. And then we're going to record the loss, the full loss on the disposal of $7,200. And then we're going to credit the machinery to get it off of the books, credit the original cost of the machinery of $16,200. So we can get that off the books. Because our normal side balance for our machinery is a debit, so to get it off of the books, we've got to credit it for the full cost. Okay, so this is how we would record the disposal of a long-term asset, where we say that the long-term asset has no value, and so therefore we're not receiving anything for that asset when we dispose of it. Option B, or problem B in this SE10 problem, is assuming that the asset the asset sold for $3,000 in cash. So we actually did get something for our asset. When we dispose of it, we got $3,000 in cash. So what we're going to do here is now we've got to calculate what our gain or our loss is going to be. And if our asset was being carried on the books at a value of $7,200, so the value is $7,200, we only received $3,000 for the asset. Now we've got a loss of $4,200 on the disposal, because we've only received $3,000 for it, and our carrying value is $7,200. So we really, we didn't receive enough. Okay, we didn't even make what we had the asset valued at. Okay, so we lost is the loss of $4,200. So now we're going to say that we received in cash. So we're going to journal entry for this is we actually did receive in cash of $3,000. So we're going to debit our cash for $3,000. We're going to now also debit the loss on the disposal for $4,000. Whoops, I'm sorry. $4,200. $4,200. And then we're going to take our accumulated depreciation and get that off the books by debiting it for the $9,000. And then we do a credit for the machinery of $16,200. So we know that always our debits have to equal up to our credit, and we know that the problem tells us that our machinery costs $16,200. So we need to make sure that we make sure that our debits add up to that. Okay? All right. So, third part of the problem. We sold the asset for $8,000. So we got in cash of $8,000. So yay, that's great. Okay, so we actually sold that asset for more than we had it on our books for. So 8,000 minus the 7,200. Now we're going to have a gain on the sale of this asset of $800. Okay. So we're going to say our cash received, oops, I'm sorry, I did this up here. Our cash received in this problem was $3,000, and our carrying value was $7,200. So therefore our loss is the $4,200. Our cash received in this case is $8,000. Our carrying value is $7,200. So this time we have a gain of the $800. Okay. So now let's see how would we record that journal entry. And this journal entry is going to look like this. Again, we're going to debit our cash because we know we received in $8,000 in cash. And we also know that we have to write that accumulated depreciation off the books, because if we're getting rid of the asset, we can no longer carry that depreciation on our balance sheet. Accumulated depreciation was $9,000. So now we have a situation where our debits are more than the machinery is worth. So we're going to record the machinery here at $16,200, and now we're going to record this gain on the sale at $800. And now our debits equal our credits. And that's all there is to recording, calculating and recording the disposal of long-term assets. Okay.